Now, when it comes to female nature and understanding it, this is probably one of the most important videos that I've ever made due to the fact that women are always trying to upgrade you. Okay, say that with me one more time. Women will always try to upgrade you. What I'm going to be showing you on today's marker board presentation is some dark truths of female nature. But if you understand these at a deep level, you can actually have the upper hand. I just got this DM'd to me on Tuesday. I'll keep this guy's name private. I'll show you what he said. He goes, Casey, I have a lady who I met years ago who completely blew me off. We went out one time and I did everything wrong. Okay, fast forward to today, I'm in week 2 of your MBT, and she not only can't stop blowing up my phone, but she can't stop begging me to see her. You are a miracle worker. I can't quantify how much I appreciate you and your product. Thank you. Guys, I'm seeing results like this literally on a weekly basis. That's why I have talked about masculine behavioral techniques for the past 3 to 4 years consistently on this channel. So because of that, what I want you to do after today's video is over is I want you to go down below, you click the link in the description, and you check out that full-length MBT, masculine behavioral technique presentation that I put together for you, because it will totally transform your life. Let's dive in. So what I'm going to be showing you is exactly why women will always upgrade you or try to upgrade you, okay? And this is not in the way that you think. Most guys get this completely backwards because they don't understand that women oftentimes operate on emotion. This isn't like textbook logical or logistical decisions that they're making. So here's what you have to know going into this. Number 1, women only focus on what they don't have, okay? You could give a woman the entire world, like put the entire world in front of her, and she will still focus on the 1 or 2 things that she doesn't have. This is how they're wired. So here's what I mean by that. Not only are they focusing on what they don't have, emotionally what they're really focusing on is what's missing. Okay? Now, here's why. Hypergamy, a woman's hypergamy, or the hypergamous nature of them, optimizes for completely perfect situations. That means they're looking for the best fit at all times to optimize their survival. This is an important concept, like for you to actually understand and to comprehend, because they're not, like, these aren't active decisions that they're making. This is their hardwiring. This is how their biology is. So what that means is it's not their fault, okay? It's how God made them. So here's what I mean by this. This is some uncomfortable truths, but you have to really internalize this. You could make $1 million a year. She's gonna sit back and go, you know, if only he was taller, okay? You could be 6'5", ripped with muscle. She'll sit back some days and scratch her head and kind of look at you and go, you know, if only he was just more charismatic, I'd probably like him more then. I just don't know if I feel the spark, okay? You could be smooth and charismatic, but if all of a sudden she wants to settle down and she's ready to have kids, she's going to look at this guy and go, you know, he just doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of money. If only I could see a future with him. So this is what you're going to run into. So they don't do what makes sense. They do what makes them feel good. This is the first truth you got to understand. The second truth you got to understand is they don't look to the future to make their decisions. They look to their emotions, okay? They look to their emotions, and their emotions cause them to make decisions in the now. Like, all women can oftentimes focus on is what you put right in front of them. So she's guided with her intuition day to day based off what she feels right now in the present moment. And what she feels in the present moment dictates her entire image and perception of you. So what that means is you could have a year of history with a woman, 2 years of history with a woman, 10 years of history with a woman. If that day you put the wrong things in front of her, her emotions can change and she'll be willing to exit. This is how it goes. Last but not least, how they feel dictates everything. So not only does this dictate her attraction towards you, but this dictates her perception of you as a man. If we understand this from the get-go, and this is what I would call the prerequisite, here's what's never talked about. You see, what's never talked about is this one specific fact. Men who watch content like this, okay, just like the content I produce on this channel, men who watch content like this, you see, they assume that hypergamy makes a woman leave a guy for a higher value man. That's what they assume going into this, because that's what they've been told. This is not always true. In fact, I would say this is not true majority of the time. Women focus on what's missing, Okay? 99% of the time, what is missing is a feeling, not a logistical decision. Okay, not he's only 5'10" and I need a guy who's 6'2". Not he makes 100 grand a year and I need a guy who makes 200 grand a year. 99% of the time, what's missing is a feeling. So her base needs are oftentimes covered, meaning she either has a job herself or she's probably married and both of you guys have jobs. Finances are covered. There's a roof over both of your guys' heads. Both of you guys have food in the fridge. You're good to go. Her base needs are covered. Okay? The guy that she's with probably makes enough money. The guy that she's with currently probably is good looking enough. The guy that she's with currently probably has friends and probably has some amount of social status, or she wouldn't have been with him in the first place. Here's what isn't talked about. New guy comes in, 99% of the time, all it is that he talks to her the right way. So now she's going to look at this other guy, or she's going to think of a guy that she had from the past, and she's going to go, you know what? He just talks to me the right way. He says the right things to me in bed. You know what? He makes me laugh. The guy that I'm currently with right now has gotten boring. The guy that I'm currently with right now is routine. The dude that I'm currently with right now doesn't make me laugh ever. The new guy makes me laugh. Or the feeling that she might be missing is the feeling of feeling beautiful. She might be looking at the new guy and going, you know what, he just makes me feel beautiful. I look at him and he makes me feel beautiful. I have the spark with him. I have chemistry with him. She might go, he makes me feel lusted after. I haven't felt lusted after in a long time. Okay? She might also go, you know what, he's so emotionally volatile that I feel everything with him. Some days I laugh, some days I cry, some days I smile, some days I'm happy, some days I'm sad, and some days I don't even know if I want to talk to him, or he doesn't even want to talk to me, but because of that, now I'm in love with him. See, this is what, this is the one piece that is not talked about nearly enough, and it needs to be, because oftentimes, if you're dating a girl consistently for 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you didn't lose your girl to a dude who is higher value. You didn't lose your girl to a dude who makes more money. This is harsh news for you, but you got to understand this. Oftentimes, you lost your girl to a player, right? The player can take your girl, because what the player can do is he can spot the emotional void that a woman has, because he understands that women are emotional and they're guided by their feelings. So women focus on what's missing. And what's missing oftentimes is some sort of emotional volatility, chaos, or turmoil that she has to fixate on, so that way she can wonder what this guy's doing, if this guy is sold on her, and if this guy even wants to be with her in the first place. What's missing is the emotion. What's missing is the ability for her to feel the spark long-term with you. So what happens is the guy who understands this, the guy who understands women are guided by their emotions, he can typically spot the void that women feel emotionally in their current relationship. Okay, sometimes it's happiness, sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's the girl doesn't feel beautiful. If you can spot this emotional void that she feels, or that all women feel, what you can do is you can fill that, and a lot of times you can be the mystery or the chase that they're looking for, so that way they want to lock you down. Now, if you understand this, if you understand that hypergamy is a feeling, we can now move on to my third point. And my third point is this: what's missing is usually an emotional void. That means most content creators only focus on the materialistic aspects of high value. This is completely incorrect, but I understand why you think this way. So hear me out for a second. What men will tell themselves when they want to define the terms of high value, the mistake guys make is they define the terms of high value, quote unquote, to them, which means to yourself as a man, or to how your other dude friends look at things. Okay? That means looks, money, and status. This is the big three that a lot of times guys look at. And you see, this makes sense. This is your male logistical brain thinking rationally. This will make sense to you. The reason why focusing on these three things makes sense to you is because you can actually put a number to these things. You can go, oh, my looks increased because I went from 15% body fat, now I'm at 8% body fat. Look how much better I look. Now my abs are showing, now my jawline's better. Look at my looks. They've increased. Okay? Your money, you can go, hey, I went from making 50K a year to making 150K a year, right? You can put a number to these things. Status, you can say, hey, I leveled up in my career. Now I have more friends, or now I'm more looked at in my community as a dude who has value, or as a guy who's successful. Okay, guys want to, the reason why guys gravitate towards these things is because what will happen is they can put a number to it. So it's like quantifiable. It's like they can actually measure it and they can actually identify it. This is bad. And this is bad for a specific reason. To women, these things do nothing to make her feel. And see, this is what's like not talked about, because as we have seen, women are oftentimes guided by their emotions. What we fail to realize and what we fail to recognize is they see the world through a different lens. Okay, so you only can see the world through your own lens, which is your lens as a guy. Well, when she wakes up in the morning, the only lens she can see the world through is girl world. That means imagination, emotion, fantasy, playing around, playing pretend, games. This is how a woman feels. So, this is why I'm telling you, hypergamy is a feeling. Hypergamy is very, very rarely a logistical decision where the girl goes, you know what, the new guy that I met, he all of a sudden makes $150K a year and my current guy only makes $100K a year, so therefore I'm going to leave him. Like, you have to understand, if you can build an like if a woman is attached to you, if a woman is truly in love with you, if a woman loves your personality and who you are as an individual, she will not exit. She will not exit because her emotions have gravitated towards you. That means oftentimes women could even oftentimes find a higher value fit on paper. She might come across a guy, you know, when she's at brunch with her girlfriends, or she might come across a guy when she's going to get coffee, or they're going to a movie, or they're going to the shopping mall. She might run across a guy who looks better, or who makes more money, or who's taller. But if she has that attachment to that one specific guy that she is fixated on, oftentimes she will not exit. The key is understanding how to maintain this feeling. This is why hypergamy is a feeling. So this is why I'm telling you in all of these videos, she needs tension. She needs tension to focus on something. That means from time to time, the tension may need to be something that she fixates on that includes chaos or turmoil. Sometimes she needs to know what it feels like to go for 2, 3, 4 days without hearing from you. Sometimes she needs to know what it's like to wonder about you and what you're doing, or if you're talking to anybody else, or if you're seeing anybody else. She needs to see that you're indifferent, meaning that you like her, meaning that you'll sometimes make time with her, but she's still in limbo from time to time, questioning, is this going to go anywhere? Is this guy going to one day commit to me? Is this guy going to see me as girlfriend material? Does this guy see me as wife material? These are the questions she needs to ask herself, which means she needs ultimate highs that are followed by ultimate lows. When you have ultimate highs and her emotions are up here, followed by ultimate lows, and some days she's sitting there wondering about you, this is how you make a woman fall in love. The reason why this is so important is because this causes her to invest in you at an emotional level, okay? It causes her to invest in you emotionally. Now, the reason why I'm saying it like this is because when it causes her to invest emotionally in you, you can do this regardless of how tall you are, regardless of how much money you make, regardless of how much muscle mass you have. Like, are these things attractive? Yeah, sure. Will she look at a guy and go, damn, he looks good, or that's a hot guy, I want to go talk to him? Yeah, maybe. Will she look at a guy and go, man, he's well known in my city or in my town, he has status, that's attractive? Yeah, sure. She might think you're hot. But this doesn't do it, like, she's not emotionally invested in this guy yet where she has an attachment towards him. You see, if you want to actually retain women beyond just like 1 or 2 dates, like if you want to see a woman consistently for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, you want to maybe have like a girlfriend one day, or you want the girl that you're with to want to keep seeing you beyond just 1 or 2 dates, you're going to have to understand how to have the right sort of emotional pull that she has towards you. So, what's missing is usually an emotional void. That is what causes a woman to stray. Now, this is something that only a player understands. The reason why all of you have to adapt some level of like masculine behavioral techniques, or you have to adapt some level of understanding how a player thinks. This is something that only a player understands. The first thing is that your sexual market value is only dictated by how many other women want you. Say that one more time. Your sexual market value is only dictated by how many other women want you. That means if you only make $5,000 per year, you are 5'1" inches tall, okay? And let's say you don't have an Instagram, or your Instagram only has 97 followers. But if you have women constantly wanting to talk to you, constantly seeing you, and constantly asking when they can go out on a date with you, you got to understand that this guy has a high sexual market value. Now, is that an extreme example? Sure, but you get my point. Your SMV, your sexual market value, is only dictated by how many other women want you. It is not dictated by your looks. It is not dictated by your money. It is not dictated by your status. It is dictated purely based on how the perception of other women are seeing you. So keep that in mind. The next point that the player can fully comprehend is that how you make them feel is dictated by who you are as a man on the inside. Okay? Women fall in love with the guy on the inside. That means oftentimes when she hears you speak, that's how you convey your personality. They're looking at the person as a whole. They're looking at the personality. They're looking at how he speaks. They're looking at how he conveys himself. They're looking at, the way that he's able to make her feel. This is only done through your ability to be socially calibrated and speaking the proper way to her. Women fall in love with a man's words. So because of that, this is why I'm telling you, and I'm going to continue to hammer this point home on all of these videos, this is why commitment crushes all desire. Because even the most charismatic, coolest, chillest dude, when he commits, eventually he runs the risk of being routine. Eventually he runs the risk of being boring. Eventually, here's what will happen. If he closes off all other options and he consolidates on one specific woman, what will happen is that that woman will now oftentimes start to question his sexual market value. Here's what I mean. Women are constantly looking for the spark. You're going to hear them say this: I want the spark, or I need the spark, or I don't feel the spark with this guy anymore, right? I don't feel the chemistry with him anymore. Things just don't feel the right way for me anymore. This is what they're going to say. Because of that, this only comes from her, number one, not knowing where you stand. Number two, having other women compete for you. And this spark only comes from her seeing you as desirable. Well, how are you able to do this? You're able to do this by being inconsistent with your behavior, making sure that there's tension from time to time so she has something to fixate on, and having other women who you're seeing or potentially seeing so that way she can physically see that you're desired in the eyes of other women. Women are attracted to the guy when he already has women or when he already displays that he has options. Because of that, here's what you got to understand. You can't bench press your way out of that. You can't make more money to get out of that. Like these are like deep rooted, like emotional feelings that women get when a guy speaks to them properly, when a guy creates the right sort of tension, when a guy is able to make her feel something on an emotional level through his personality. This is so important. And this specifically is why women will always upgrade you. The biggest difference though is what's never talked about. What's never talked about is that men who watch content like this, they assume that hypergamy makes women leave a guy for a higher value man, but they fail to actually set parameters around what women consider high value, not just what men consider high value. And men are so quick to look at the external. Men are so quick to look at the materialistic world. Things like looks, things like money, things like status. Those things are great for attraction, but you got to understand, a woman falls in love through the internal world. So whenever there's a specific emotional void, whenever there's an emotional void that she doesn't have filled, this is what she starts to look for. So are women always trying to upgrade you? Yes. Hypergamy optimizes for perfect. But oftentimes what they're missing is a feeling. And if you can be the guy who can spot that void and fill that feeling, you're going to be able to essentially get the women that you want or that you've always wanted much easier than guys who are constantly chasing more money, constantly chasing more status, and they think that that's going to do something to make the woman feel a specific way. If you like this video, I want you to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.